Alright, here we go with the first video recap. So, practicing these things. So, you got first rhythm. Oh, that's not on screen very well. Second rhythm here. And this guy. So the goal with 1 and 2 especially, you're going to work this from 60 all the way to 120. Now typically with speed building stuff, we start at 60 after you play whatever it is you're working on. You get it 100% correct, then you go up 5 beats a minute. So you go from 60 to 65, 70, 75 until you can't play it correctly anymore. And but you always want to end any practice run with whatever you're doing, end it with a perfect one. Even if that means you have to back off of the speed a little bit, you always want to end playing it correctly. It's good for the brain. End on the positive note. Now, doing something like that for especially numbers 1 and 2 for this week, because of how long they are, it can be very time consuming to always just go up by 5s. So it's going to be a good idea to use your judgment of when you need to go up that slow. So, once you get 60 beats a minute down well, maybe try the 80 beats a minute. Because remember, the 4 maintenance speeds I want you to do every day for these is 60, 80, 100, and 120. Now, when you come back in on Thursday night, I'm going to ask you to demonstrate the stuff at 60 and 120. So the slow speed and then the fast speed to get to. Anytime you feel like you can't get to 120, that's okay. I always want you to focus on accuracy before speed, because if you just push the speed without the accuracy, things are just going to sound like a big old sloppy mess, and nobody wants to hear that. Okay, most people don't want to hear it. There might be a few people out there who are okay with it. But, yeah, we want accuracy. So let's say you can only get something up to 105. Anything after that, it just falls apart, and no matter how many times you try, you just can't do it. That's fine. You just let me know how fast you got when you come back in with, and again, this is just an example, because we're going to get to some pretty tough stuff eventually. So just when that happens, just give it the best you got, and then let me know where you got if you didn't make it to that speed goal, and then it's my job to figure out what would be a helpful thing in order to get you to that speed goal. So you just put in your best effort, and then you just let me figure out what we need to do next just to help get you further along there. So anyway, so let's say like working up number 1 here. 60 beats a minute, piece of cake. Try 80 beats a minute. Okay, it was a little bit harder, but you got it. So maybe instead of going to 100 next, maybe you just try 90. And let's say 90 was about the same difficulty as 80. So then you try 100. And like, okay, well, 100 beats a minute, that felt a bit more difficult. So then go up to 105, and then to 110, and so on. So yeah, use your judgment of when you need to go up in those smaller beat per minute increments. And the more we do this stuff, the better your judgment will be on how fast you're going to increase stuff. So when you're playing the rhythms, so like number 1 and number 2 for this week, make sure you tap your foot the whole time you're playing with the metronome. Count out loud as you play. And try to be able to count out loud up to 120. When we start playing faster stuff, it'll get to a point that's too difficult to really be able to say a lot of stuff as we're going, especially with like 16th notes when we get to that. But at the very least, I want you to be able to say it as you play it at 60 beats a minute. If it starts to feel too difficult, if there's too much thinking involved as you get faster, you go ahead and stop counting, because doing the stuff at the slow speed is going to help solidify that muscle memory and just really put all this stuff in your subconscious. But yeah, doing the 60 beats a minute, or not 60 beats. Yeah, when we get to 16th notes, counting things at 60 beats a minute is the same speed as counting eighth notes at 120. So that's why I want you to at least try and count along at the 120, because we will be counting that fast eventually. So I think that covers all the preliminary stuff. So let's get to some demos here. So I'm just going to demonstrate these at the slow and the fast speed. If you ever feel like you need further or like speed demos in between, just let me know. But I want you to use this as like a reference point so you can play along at the 60, and then when you get up to the 120 you can follow along with the video again and just double check to make sure everything sounds good. So here we go. 60 beats a minute. I need to turn this up. On the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2. 3 and 4. 1 and 2. 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3. 4 and 1. 2 and 3. 4 and 1 and 2. 3 and 4. 1 and 2. 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3. 4 and 1. 2 and 3. 4 and done. So that's what I'll typically do at the very last chord. I just hit it once, say done. Well, it definitely hit it once. It says only hit it once. But instead of letting it ring out all 4 beats, I just say done. But I filled it out as a whole note at the end there, because we have to fill the bar with something. And that's the easiest thing to fill it with. So here we go, 120 beats a minute. A 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and done. Okay. So yeah, when working on this, yeah, I want you to remember to wait to the very last second before you go switching to a chord, and keep that index finger down. So obviously number 3 is going to be really working on that because of the slides. But yeah, we just want to focus on precision while changing those chords. Alright, number 2. So if you ever feel the need, or like if you come across a rhythm like this where it's constantly changing, a good step to take is just count it first. You count it along with the metronome too. That's always a good idea. And eventually when we get to the harder stuff, you may need to work on just one bar at a time and just work each bar up individually, and then maybe work 2 bars up together before finally putting the whole thing together. So here we go, 60 beats a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and done. 120. Whoops. There we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and done. Alright, number 3, the slides. Let's see. I think this one would be best to be a speed building drill. I don't remember if I said that last night or not. I was rather tired. I'm much more refreshed right now. So let's have you do a speed drill with this. So 60, 65, 70, 75, and so on. Really focus on the clarity. Make sure that you are making really tight, precise changes from chord to chord. So, yeah, just work it up as fast as you can get it. And anytime that it starts to feel sloppy or sound sloppy, then it's gone too fast. So, it's got to sound dead on perfect. Always think or ask yourself, before you increase metronome speed, if it was good enough for a recording, okay, then you increase the speed. But if you don't think it was good enough to be on a recording, it wasn't good enough. Here we go. 60 beats a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, this is going to be just some reference speed so you can play along with it and double check, make sure things sound right. So here's 120. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do 160 next. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see how 200 goes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's definitely taking a lot of concentration. Let's try 220. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. See if I can get that a little better. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more at 240. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, if you get to 240, you're definitely golden on that. No need to go any faster. Yeah. The other thing, we started looking at scale shapes and briefly talked about modes. So we'll get more and more in depth as we go each week. But learn one scale at a time. It's like when you're working on the old C scale. I just want you to focus on alternate picking the whole time. Now, you have the option of hitting this top note twice. So if you do that, it would sound like this altogether. Which would have you ending with an upstroke, but you could only hit every note once as you're going up and down. So sound like this, and you would also be ending on a downstroke. The other things you can do, like what I had one student do who was having an extra difficult time memorizing these shapes, is I had him double up everything. So he played each string twice before moving on to the next string. So he did it like this. So that's an option you could try. You can also pick each note twice as you're going up. So just a couple variations there. The main thing is just to get the shape memorized. So until you can play your C scale or the C Ionian shape up and down comfortably from memory, don't go on to D Dorian yet. But when you do have a C Ionian down, totally memorize, start working on the Dorian, and then be able to go from the C Ionian to the D Dorian shape non-stop from memory before you add the next shape. So definitely take your time with that. No rush there. And if any questions come up, please let me know. I'll see you again on Thursday.